Okay, let's get into the news for this week. And
All right.
yeah, so we're I mean, not to hit you guys with back-to-back black bills, but we're gonna start off with New Zealand. Um, and so yeah, Rob, why don't you take it away?
Okay. Well, obviously, we have horrible tragedy in New Zealand to talk about, and part of me is, I kind of don't want to talk about this. I think if it was just kind of some random crazy person with kind of just shooting up people, I probably would just um, not go with this story. But I think, and something else that we do, obviously, we're not gonna say his name. We're not gonna put up links to his manifesto, and we're not trying to make the guy famous. But I think a the one thing, it's a horrible tragedy that was conducted upon completely innocent people, and it was a couple of mosques that were hit. And yes, I've been a huge um, you know I've been against a lot of Islam, especially radical Islam. I um I it's just there's a lot of problems, I think, with the religion itself, but that doesn't mean that I think that we should go and shoot up a bunch of mosques and all that stuff. So I uh, I do pray for those people, and you know I hope that the families that were involved find some peace. Although that's going to be tough. It's kind of I feel really terrible for what happened. And the what's kind of the disgusting part of it all is this guy. Um, it was he was just to say that he was a crazy person. I don't think this is the right terminology. Um, because right, it he's evil. Yes, I'll say that. But it's more of he wrote down all this stuff of like why he's you know why he did what he did, but really what it was to, so I think and if you look at his manifesto, and I've read parts of it, unfortunately, but it was to sow division, um especially within like the our political system, because he threw out like stuff that was gonna inflame the left, which it did, and the left focused on it because that's what they do. But then you have there was stuff that was thrown in there to inflame the right, and that did too. And it's kind of like, oh, hold on, wait a second. See, he can't be both of these things. And he said within his thing that he wanted to create division and create a kind of a civil war based off of the he knew that like something like the Second Amendment and gun rights. Although he did commit this in New Zealand, his whole thing was to inflame a lot of the political rhetoric that's going on uh, with worldwide, actually, if you really think about it, along race and political lines. And unfortunately, I think he accomplished his mission, because you look at how the media is portraying it, and damn if they don't buy it hook, line, sinker.
But anyways, I didn't read the manifesto. I watched videos from people who I trust to do a fair and balanced analysis of the events of New Zealand, and I was amazed at how how the media just fell right into the trap. They saw the sign that said, watch out, tiger pit. Like, okay, and then they basically ran into it. Um,
And that's always like when I look at that stuff, I almost wonder, is it are they are they just oblivious and they just kind of go they're so deranged by Trump that they don't it's kind of like they just have this like anger vision and they don't see anything else but that, or are they nefarious and like, okay, well, we're going to cover this and we're going to almost bring this about, exactly what this guy wanted.
um,
Because part of me wonders, like, do they actually really like the United States? Do they like being a United States citizen and living here? Because I don't think a lot of times I wonder if I don't think they do. I don't think they like the United States of America, and I think that I think there's a bunch of them that are oblivious and don't know a damn thing. And then there's other people that as part of the media that are just hate being here and being an American.
well, from little things I've seen, it's 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 one. I think they take for granted the freedoms that America has and that the Constitution protects. And two, I think they're more concerned with pushing their ideology, their narrative, uh, and I think literally to their detriment, because to use an example, YouTube recently demonetized Owen Benjamin's entire channel. Like not just
Yep.
not just the videos that he posts, but I guess YouTube set it up so where people can kind of like a Patreon thing where people like click a button to join like a kind of like a membership thing, and they pay a certain amount
Yeah,
every
like
month. And they demonetized his channel, which means he cannot make money on YouTube ever again. But then they're also refunding all the money back to the people who donated or who basically subscribed to him and said that they wanted to pay a certain amount every month to support him. And it's
I mean,
at that moment that you realize that these people don't care about money, because YouTube, even before like the whole ad things, like YouTube was operating at a loss. Like YouTube is not a uh, lucrative or stable business model. And so yeah, they really don't care. They really don't care. They really don't care about money because with and so like yeah, they really so with not caring about freedoms and more concerned about pushing a certain ideological viewpoint. They I think the left is lost. Like fundamentally, they're just lost.
so you just think that like they've bought so far into their ideology that they just like it's kind of blinded them to like to where they take what we have here in this country for granted, you think?
Yeah, I mean, we've strayed off the path of the New Zealand thing, but I think we pretty much covered it. It was awful, horrible. Can't believe the media was so stupid. Um,
Oh yeah, we
you
do.
know,
Yes.
yeah,
To bring it
hashtag not
down.
all Muslims. Hashtag not all white people. Hashtag not all fill in the blank.
Um, yeah, to like my closing part of this would be like it's awful. I'm praying for the victims and their families that they find some peace. Um, don't buy fully into like what the media is trying to say about this, because this whole thing was to sow division between all of us, and
Yeah, I mean,
damned if
yeah.
it didn't.
If I'm to make a comparison, he was like this guy was basically the Joker.
Yeah,
You know,
a lot of these guys are.
he just wanted to sow chaos, and he did exactly that. You know, he felt,
Wanted to watch the world burn.
he basically set the trap for the media. It's like here, it's like I want to do, in his manifesto, he's like I want to do all these things, and guess what? The media, the politicians, they all did the same thing. Immediate calls for assault weapons ban. Immediately blaming right wingers. Immediately trying to
Yep.
lay the responsibility of the shooting on certain prominent personalities. PewDiePie, Candace Owen. Even though this guy was all for an ethno snake and said that Candace Owen was big influence on his life. He said people try to paint him as a conservative right winger when he's more of a socialist, and he identified more with the communist China. It's just like this guy tells you exactly what he's about to do and why he's doing it, because he's one of those types where he's as one of my favorite podcast duos coined. He's an advanced collapsitarian. He just wants the system to crumble, and as Alfred said in The Dark Knight, it's like some men just won't see the world burn.
That's pretty much what this guy wanted.
Exactly, and he achieved everything. They just fell for the trap.